people, all kinds of people. They're short people, tall people, some slow people and some fast people. All of them are unique, all of them different. Some have big ears and small feet, and some have large feet and big ears. Wouldn't it be a monotonous world if all people looked and acted alike? Fortunately, they don't, and artists have been captivated by these differences down through the centuries. One of the many, many ways that artists have devised to portray human portraits or human likenesses over the years in art is through the portrait silhouette. Most obviously, in this case, the miniature silhouette. A silhouette is simply defined as a dark image against a light background, or it could be just the opposite. Its origin is attributed by some to a 17th century French minister of finance who was too chinchy, some people said, to buy portraits or pictures for his home, so he had his guests sit down before a light in front of a large white piece of paper, and he reflected their shadow on the paper, and he cut this image out. He traced around it, and then he cut the image out, and through this hole, or this negative space of the image, one could see the similarity of the sitter. He placed this over a piece of black felt or vellum type paper, and then on that he would take white Conte crayon and sketch in then details of hair, ribbons, and jewelry and so forth on that. All this is rumor, of course, but then it sounds like a real good story to explain where the name came from, because the man's name was Silhouette. Since then, the art of cutting silhouettes in miniature has become a very popular pastime, a very popular art form, usually carried on by traveling artists and found at fairs and carnivals and circuses and so forth. It's been brought forward in the finest tradition over the years. And this country, it's been a very popular art form. The silhouette is an interesting thing. Everybody has one that is uniquely their own, although it may change radically with facial expressions. Using some simple observation techniques and with a little practice, you can create a portrait silhouette. For the purpose of practicing, it's best to choose a good model that has unique characteristics. You have as many choices as there are people about you. Any model you choose will do. But for a beginner, it's best to select one with some unique characteristics. Stay away from the ideal or the so-called perfect figure. It is best to start large. You will need medium-sized scissors, some 8.5 inch by 11 inch white paper, and 1/2 sheet of black construction paper. Now study your model. If you are right-handed, it will probably be easier to coordinate eye and scissors when the model faces right, If you're left-handed, facing left might work better. Try both ways. Remember that negative space, or the shapes around the figure, are as important as the figure when deciding what to cut away. It may help to imagine a vertical edge that touches the most protruding part, in this case, the tip of the nose on the right and the back of the head on the left. The shapes bordering the figure outline and the vertical edge are negative shapes. Here are some tips to help make it easier. Hold your paper and your scissors high up where you can see your cut and the model with a minimum of eye-head movement on your part. Have your model stand still with mouth closed and chin slightly up. Next, attack the paper with the full length of the scissors blades and start at the bottom right of the paper. This would be for right-handers, of course. Keep your eye on the model with only occasional glances at your paper. This is to check for direction. Make long, smooth, continuous cuts. Rotate the paper as you cut. Move the paper rather than the scissors. Cut around the collar or follow the hairstyle back to the shoulder area. Finishing the work involves some creative thought. Shape the shoulder much like a bust portrait in sculpture, and the collar can be fashioned for a tie or an open shirt look. Buttons or jewelry can be added with a few simple techniques. Think of your model as a flat two-dimensional shape, and the task is to simply cut away the negative space. Look for variations in facial structure that makes your model the unique individual that he or she is. Remember the edge of the plane that cut across the tip of the nose. As the little point moves up and down the figure, look at the various distances from the point to the model. How far it is from that vertical edge into various parts of the model. The edge cuts across the tip of the nose, but look at the distance from, say, this point to this point, and compare it with the distance from that line from, say, where the mouth indents here, the lip, and the distance of the chin from that line out here off the nose to this distance in here where the chin is located. These are very important parts of the figure to notice, because most of the likeness that you get will be in this area right in here, from the top of the brow down to the chin. The neck area, this area right in here, the length of the neck, and as it turns right in this area here, will also be a feature that is recognizable as different in most people. Now remember the vertical edge that's parallel to the nose, or just touches the nose rather, and notice the distance that it is from here to that line, from the object out, almost like a stylus or a pantograph sweeping across the surface to show the different depths from these. Now compare those. Let's compare, say, the depth of this to other features from the figure that fall along that line. The mouth, for instance. The distance from the lip, the bottom of the lip touches that same line. And the chin now sticks in a little bit here, so you keep that in mind. You want to look at your model very carefully before you begin to cut. Now as you cut, you remember you started low on the picture plane, you came around and you twisted and turned the paper to get these features right here. And you cut in and out and turn the paper, and as you get up to here, the hairline will sometimes scoop down and out. It'll go straight out, sometimes it goes straight on back. In the case of some people who don't have any hair, it just goes on around very smooth. But The next feature you want to concentrate on is the shape of the head and the hair. And as you come around the head, around this way, there are some things that you want to notice right about here. Generally the head will start turning in at a point that's even with the brow over here. Notice that. Some people it doesn't, but a lot of people it does. Right across this line right here. The top of the ear, if you were drawing a portrait, you'd notice that it would line up there, but in a silhouette it doesn't make any difference. So back in here, then the head begins to turn in, so you want to think turning in. And now notice the same thing happens back here. On a vertical line that tangents the back of the head, you have different distances in here. This distance right here is very deep, and then as you get to the collar, you want to treat the shirt as a part of the silhouette and come out and down and around. Now those are the things you want to keep in mind and look for as you're working. This vertical line here, and the distances from it to the figure, and this vertical line right here, and the distances from that vertical line to the figure. This little shape right in here, from the figure out to this vertical line, is a negative shape, and that's what we want to cut away in order to retain the likeness in the silhouette. As with caricature, you may also exaggerate these features slightly, such as the way the lip protrudes over the chin in this case. Notice how the lip sticks out here over the chin, a good distance back in here. You can exaggerate that and exaggerate this little cleft right here, this way this cuts in under the chin, to get a better likeness. Well, now all you have to do is practice, and practice, and practice. And you spend lots of time looking at people, just looking at people. Enjoy that. It's a lot of fun just to look at people. And you'll find it can be an enjoyable pastime, good hobby to have, and it can be very profitable too.